Hey guys, Doug the Retirement Guy here. Well, we got a comment from one of our viewers, and as we always said, we will always respond to the viewers. If we agree or disagree, we'll always come back. So I wanted to go out here and they asked about FPI, the Rex Fang Innovation Equity Premium Income ETF. Should I have that in my retirement account? The Rex shares show a dividend of 25.2%. So let's take a look deeper into this. First off, FEPi is a principal ETF. And I will say this because I did get questioned this before. You got to dig deep into these things and look it over. The fund uses covered call strategies to create income and exposure to the share price returns. So they are selling the covered calls to generate this income across the board. Now, what they are doing is they're using the FANG, which is the high-tech stuff across the board. So they do show that 25.2% distribution rate. But here's a scary one. They have a 30-day SEC of a negative 0.22. But as we've seen in the past, a negative remark means there's questionable times possible that money is not going to flow. According to SEC rulings, they may not see as much income coming in from these down the road. Now let's take a look at what they're investing in. And of course, you're going to see all of it. The Netflix, the Amazons, the Facebook, Meta, Apple, the Salesforce. So all the big names of tech. So I'm 100% positive this is a strong fund to be in. But you got to remember, is tech up, down, sideways at times. So we got to be careful with this one. And it shows they got money in their treasury bills, which is very common in ETFs to generate even more income. Now the return. This comes directly from their website on 12/31. They have the market in the last month is down 0.97%. 3 months, they're up 3.13. The 6 month is 2.96. Year to date is 15.50. And of course, the 1 year at the 12/31 mark is 15.50. But I really wanted to show one more thing here is if you go into Yahoo Financial and you take a look at their 1 year past performance, you'll see where the stock started up above 55. They are now down to 48. So that's a negative 13.72 in the past year. So it really shows that when you don't count on dividends and you don't count on the extra income, the actual NAV pricing of this stock has actually gone down 13.72%. So what we did here is we did like we always do. We take our $10,000 investment. We looked at the past history. Back in January of 24, the price of the stock was $56.84. We bought $10,000 worth, which would put us at 175, almost 176 shares. Now, I do like this fund because it does pay that dollar plus, $1.08 to $1.20 dividend every month. But when you take a look at it, go all the way down to the bottom, we have lost 10.7%. If we're including the January of 2025 into this, we've lost 10% of our net value to gain 25% in dividend income. You have to take your losses plus your positives, equal out, that you've basically only made $1,488 or 14.89%. So again, the value loss of 1,000 at negative 10%, the gain of the dividend at 25.58%, you really only have a true gain on this fund of $1,488 or 14.89%. Now, if you take a look at the price over the long period, this is why we always use these scales. You can see that this thing started up and slowly has worked its way down and then finally had a slight recovery and coming all the way to the very end, just still coming down that hill. That's why we say the FEPi has small spikes, but mostly in a downward pattern. The chart shows that it's not holding the price value over any period of time. So again, there's the difference in the value of your stock versus your return of your money using dividends across the board. So let's take a look at the FIP summary that I would give you. From the stock return, you're down 10.33%. I give that a thumbs down. I hate when I lose value of my portfolio of my stock because you have to rebuild that somehow. The dividend return of 25.58 over 12 months is good, solid cash flow. And it's nice that they're getting that dollar plus per share. So I do give that one a thumbs up. And your total stock return of 14.89%, including your dividends, well, anytime you get double digits, I'll always say you got to give that a thumbs up. But if you don't get those big dividend returns, your return will suffer from the stock and the NAV loss. So remember that. So the question I always use is FEPi good for a retirement account? Well, my answer really has to be no. And I know that probably disagrees with people, but it's a positive no because we go back to it's that you're losing your value. And if you don't look at those two separate items as the value of your stock versus the value of your income, those two have to be separated. Most people only look at the positive return at the end. But if you're taking that money from the dividend and using it to pay your bills, you don't have that real positive return. That's why I said the return is great at 25.58. But if you're only getting 14% return because you have to pay back the value, that's what you have to really look at. Now, I will tell you how I'd suggest you play this stock in a retirement account. And it's never the easiest way. It's not one of those, as I've always said, is set and forget. But really how you have to play this one is using a 70-30 reinvestment structure. So what does that mean? That means you take 70% of your dividends you can take and pay your bills with. That's all you get. The other 30% you pour back into buying additional shares. So look what happens in the same chart. $10,000 invested on 1/2024. We bought 175.9 shares. You take 30% of your income and buy more shares, and you get to pocket the 70%. Your dividends are now to $1,787 or 17.88%. We've been able to keep our value basically right in there with $500 gain or a 4.56% to give us a total of a 22.44 total finish return. Now, we already know, we're looking into January and February already, that the stock price of this fund is continuously going down. But a 70-30 fund will protect you and cover you. So if you're living off of this for dividends, you can only take 70% if you want to do this right. Now, this program is more work because every month when you get that dividend check, you have to take, if it's $1 per share, 30 cents of it has to go into reinvestment. This is the only way I would make it work into a retirement program. I want to thank you for your comment. I want to thank you for your information. I hope this helps out. And again, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. And if you're into the subscribe, hit that subscribe button. And again, leave me a comment. We're not here to argue and fight. We're just to look at the facts and maybe look at things in a different way than someone else. So again, thank you.